Welcome back to the Black Evolution, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boy Dab Danny in the building. Got a very special guest, Kidd Klutch Productions. And we're going to talk in the MeToo movement. Here we go. Let's get into it. Hey, hey. All right, let's get into it. So, Mr. Kidd Klutch Productions, Mr. CEO, Mr. He is the job. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, Danny. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Happy to have you on here, man. So let's get into it. What you think of the Andrew Cuomo situation, man? We all know that he resigned recently this past Tuesday because of the MeToo movement and because of the sexual harassment allegations against him. What are your thoughts on this, my brother?
I think the whole allegations and report, the whole report was political. However, I do think that one of those, and this is my personal belief, when it comes to the cop that said he harassed her, I do believe it. That he had touched her on the behind. I believe that part, but the rest of it, I don't believe it because the rest is just hearsay. And I think also it was convenient for the Democrat Party to get rid of Andrew Cuomo.
Why do you say that?
At this time. I say that because the Democrat Party is dealing with a lot of, remember when they had some of the, during the coronavirus, they had some United States senators from both parties actually got in trouble from inside trading. They traded some of their stock when they found out the coronavirus was coming before anybody else knew on their businesses. And that's actually illegal. Martha Stewart actually got arrested for it. And there was another guy also too, his name was Ivan Boesky. He's one of the biggest people on in Wall Street during the 80s. Yeah. He got arrested for that insider trading. So I don't understand how that's not being brought up, but Cuomo scandals is being brought up.
Yeah.
And I think he's wrong for hiding the numbers when it comes to the nursing home scandal and stuff. But also, I think that's the only reason that this whole sexual harassment report came out. Because he refused to resign when that report came out with the nursing home scandal.
Yeah. My thing with the whole Andrew Cuomo situation is, did he do some of it? Yes. Absolutely, I believe it. But some of it, from what I've seen, to show that he did that, is there a tape somewhere? Do you have DNA? All this stuff, because it's sexual harassment. This is the act of physically, someone sexual advances, and in the act of physical touching someone that you don't want to touch you, whatever. So there should be some tapes and some cameras and stuff where he did this mess. But a lot of them are just saying hearsay. Some of it's saying that it happened in his office. I'm like, in his office there should be a camera in there somewhere. It's a public place. If most of these places happening are in public, there should be cameras to show that he did this mess.
Like I'm reading one part of the report right now. It says, under Executive Assistant 1, it says Andrew Cuomo reached under her blouse and grabbed her breast for over 3 months. Executive Assistant 1 kept this groping incident to herself and planned to take it to the grave, but found herself becoming emotional in a way that was visible to her colleagues in the executive chamber while watching the governor state a press conference that he had never touched anyone inappropriate. She then confided in a certain way of her colleagues, who in turn reported her allegations to senior staff and executive chamber. So this happened like you said it did. Why is it taking you from March 3rd, 2001?
Yeah.
On the TV to say that.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand.
Yeah, my thing, if it happened like you said you did, you could report this immediately and let people know that, hey, listen, hey, this is wrong and stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you taking you a whole bunch of 3 or 4 months to just now coming out? Like, for example, if it was reversed, if a female governor did something, God forbid, then I would report that immediately. I wouldn't waste zero time the next day. Say, you ain't gonna get away. You ain't gonna get away. You gonna suffer the consequence for doing this mess. But you're gonna take 3 months. Like, why are you taking so long? Well, he's a governor. He's in a position of power. You can still take him down. There's been news reporters who've gone down for the Me Too movement. Travis Smiley, Donahue has gone down for the Me Too movement. So this is not impossible. You can take these powerful men down. I don't know why you're taking all his months and stuff. And if you know he did it, he did it. But with the whole cop, I believe that one because hey, the cop's not gonna lie. That cop's not gonna be deceitful and stuff. And also, it's been proven that he did that mess.
Yeah, because I have the cop report right here. It says Trooper number 1 in early November 2017, the governor briefly met a state trooper, a woman that bent on a Robert F. Kennedy Bridge, also known as RFK Bridge. After meeting Trooper number 1, he spoke with the senior member of his protective detail about seeking to have Trooper number 1 join his protective service unit. Trooper number 1 was then hired to the protective service unit despite not meeting the requirement to have at least 3 years of state police service to join the TSA. In an email to Trooper number 1 shortly after the RFK Bridge event, senior investigator number 1 noted attaching a vacancy notice with a 2-year service requirement as opposed to 3 years. They changed the minimum from 3 years to 2 just for you. After Trooper number 1 joined the PSA, the governor sexually harassed her on a number of occasions, including number 1 running his hand across her stomach from her belly button to her right hip, while she held a door open for him at an event, running his finger through her back from the bottom of her neck down her spine to the middle of her back, saying, "Hey, you," while she was standing in front of him in an elevator. Number 3, he was kissing her on the cheek in front of another state trooper, asking her to kiss her on another occasion, which she deflected in making sexual suggestion and gender-based comments, including asking her to help him with finding a new girlfriend, describing his criteria for a girlfriend as someone who can handle pain, and asking her why she wanted to get married when marriage means your sex drive goes down, and asking her why she didn't wear a dress. Trooper number 1 found these interactions with the governor not only offensive and uncomfortable, but marked differently from the way the governor interacted with members of the PSA.
Yeah, so it sounds to me he was harassing her and groping her, and then he's talking about, well, hey, I need a girlfriend, this and that. I'm like, my thing with Andrew Cuomo is, bro, you are a governor, you are a politician. Have some decorum, have some class, and also like when you approach women, so it's like, what's wrong with you? You a governor, you can go anywhere, do it the old school way, take them out on dates and stuff, and do that mess. But you sitting up there, I'm a grabber, I'm a groper. I tell her,
what I'm gonna say with his actions may have been immoral and unethical, but I don't see anything illegal about the stuff he did. That's the part that he's missing, is that out of all these incidents, only one had an actual description and had details, and it made sense.
yeah.
But the rest of these are more like hearsay. This one is telling from the point of view. Like, you can believe that because the state trooper, it bosses the governor.
Yeah.
So, if an incident like that came about, who would you report that to?
Yeah, you report that to the office.
And you report that to the office, it's still headed by the governor.
Yep.
So that part I can believe, but the rest of it, I don't believe. With these other women. And I think, yeah, he was wrong for that. He was ethically wrong, but I don't know if he should have been railroaded out like that. I think he should have been sent to counseling or, behavioral courses and stuff.
Yeah, but my thing as a governor, like, when you're a governor, I know why they resigned him. They resigned him partially political, but partially because of the whole image and the brand Democratic Party. Think about it as a brand perspective, as an image perspective. They can't associate themselves with a person with all these sexual harassment claims and stuff. So they had to have him resign to save their political careers and stuff. They can't be associated with that. So they're like, hey, they're gonna cave. They're gonna be like, hey, listen, this is wrong. This is immoral and stuff. And they're gonna get rid of him. And I'm like, hey, it is wrong. It is immoral and stuff like that. But it also is political because, hey, he's a governor of New York, a very powerful. Saying no, then hey, the best way to get rid of him would be the Me Too movement crisis and everything else. And I'm not suggesting that's what happened. I'm saying this is my personal belief. This is my personal opinion. According to the facts, though, I'm looking at all these reports and all these allegations. Most of it is hearsay. Some of it is particularly true, like the cop you just mentioned. And I'm just saying that when it comes to the whole thing of him resigning, I think, hey, the right move for him should have resigned because had he been in office, he would have continued to go through the scandal. The people of his state of New York would have probably lost faith in him slowly over time because all these allegations are coming out. All the allegations are coming out, and he's probably not going to be getting anything done because people are not going to trust you. When people put you in a position of power, they expect you to have a certain standard and stuff. They can't really find out that you're doing all this low down, dirty stuff with sexual harassment claims and stuff like that and allegations. It's going to look bad politically, and also it's going to damage your reputation and effectiveness as a governor. So I look at it from all these different angles, and I'm like, yeah, he had to resign. There was no other option.
And I agree with you. I echo those sentiments on it. But here's where I draw a line with them is, like this, for politicians, if you're going to hold all politicians to that, you're going to hold one politician to that standard, hold everybody to that. Hold those that doing corruption in other areas, like those that I named already, those that may be, just damaging the brand. But I feel was at times that these political parties, they're hypocritical. It's not whether the person has done something wrong or not. It's about, especially in the Democrat Party, it's not, they don't go off of facts and stuff. They go off of, okay, news, hearsay. And I feel like you need to go by facts. Follow the facts, and the facts will lead you to where you need to go.
Yeah, I also will say this.
I feel like the Democrat Party, they don't listen to their voters when it comes to stuff.
Yeah, and also I feel like
there's many voters in the state of New York that disagree with him being removed. And I also think what they should have gave him an opportunity to is take it to the voters. If the voters say he should resign and he doesn't resign and impeach him, I agree with that. But if the voters don't say it, why are you gonna go forward with that? Because the politicians, they don't elect politicians, it's the voters that elect them.
Yeah.
And I think too, the standard, I'm all for having a high ground moral standard, but it can't just be for one person to fit your agenda.
Yeah, I was gonna lead into that with Trump. I was gonna lead into that with Trump because Trump is going through all these sexual harassment allegations that he still managed to become president, and still they're still doing investigation with him currently. So I'm thinking if you're gonna hold these politicians to the standard, I'm saying hold them all to the standard across the board. I'm just talking about with Andrew Cuomo and just other people too. If another politician, I'm just gonna come out and say it. There was rumors or speculation that Joe Biden was doing some of the sexual harassment or allegations, grabbing women and this and that, and breathing in women's ear and stuff like that. It's like, hey, you can't be doing that. So I'm saying I will hold them all to a standard.
And I agree with you because, like, here's what I don't understand too when it comes to the MeToo movement. A lot of these allegations that you're talking about, they came out at the height of the MeToo movement. So if they were true, why haven't they? How come we didn't hear about this? How come we didn't even hear about them last year? Andrew Cuomo was at the height of his career last year as the governor of New York. So why wait till, okay, things are dying down to where they get, where they become the weak link, you want to pile stuff on them. That's the problem I have with the MeToo movement is that they're making them, the MeToo movement, I was one of the staunchest supporters of it. And it became, to me now, it's become a mockery over the last couple of years from what I've seen. Because you're not going off of facts. You're going off of hearsay, and you're not only going off of the MeToo movement. It doesn't attack people like they always want to make it out to be like the big, strong, powerful men. They're not going after that. They go after a man that has been wounded. They go after a man that reputation has been dragged through the mud. Then they want to try to take him out. And that's the problem I have with it.
Yeah.
Because even with R. Kelly, the Me Too movement finally went after R. Kelly. They knew this stuff was going on for years. But they finally went after him with it after they released the Survivor R. Kelly documentary. They ruined his reputation, and then they got him like that. I don't understand it. If y'all stand for taking out powerful men that abuse their power and rape women and sexual harassment and sexual assault, why aren't y'all not getting them at the top of their game? Why y'all waiting? Why y'all trying to damage their reputation and didn't do that? I feel that's the same thing that happened with Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
I felt like Andrew Cuomo's reputation went damaged. People would have shut the hell up. The Democrats would have stuck with him. I felt like the reason why they used that to get him out because he became a distraction to them. And also, too, I want to add with the political spectrum with the Democrats, here's the reason why I think they did it. Because they passed the infrastructure bill and they had no people of color in there negotiating the bill. And Congresswoman from New York, she said, how are you gonna negotiate a package, infrastructure package bill, and you have none of your members of Congress of color, or even the vice president, he wasn't even there. And that's what I don't understand. Also, too, they refused to pass the bill that those people of color wanted. That part of their bill. And you had the senators go on the TV. I think two of the white senators, they went on there and said that no, they didn't need to worry about that. That's not their concern with the people of color. So why is it that very day he resigned is the same day that all that news comes out? But the top headline was Andrew Cuomo. And that's what I'm saying. This whole thing has been so convenient for the Democrat Party. It's like, it's not that they felt this way, because if they felt this way, they probably knew if these allegations are true. They knew about it way before the public knew. And they did nothing about it. But it's at the point that he didn't do what they wanted to come out with it.
Yeah.
The same thing I said with Joe Biden, with his allegations is, Joe Biden was the vice president at the beginning of the MeToo movement, going into the height of it. If y'all want to take out a big, powerful man, how come you didn't take out the vice president of the United States? With the allegations. And force him to resign and do all that.
I know why. Because of Trump, during the time frame of his allegations, Trump was going to mess and going crazy. They felt it more important to go after him and everything and neglect him. And I'm just like, oh, when he became president, it's just like, oh, we're not
talking about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when Joe Biden was vice president, around 2015, 2016. That's what I'm talking about. Because the MeToo movement, it was around that time. That's when you started seeing Cosby allegations. Harvey Weinstein. That's what I'm saying. If you wanted to go after a powerful person and you thought that was true, how come the people that was over the MeToo movement, how come they didn't try and push that Joe Biden at that time and they waited for him to run for president? Then they wanted to bring that out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The MeToo movement, it seems too convenient to me. That's what I'm saying with it.
Yeah. So overall, what are your final thoughts on the whole Andrew Cuomo situation and him resigning, my brother?
Well, I think it's like this. I mean, he did the right thing to resign, but at the same time, like I've been saying through the whole thing, is that I don't think they forced him to resign for the right reason. I think there's an agenda behind it, and I think we have to be mindful because we want to see who's next. Because nobody is safe from this. No man is safe from that.
Yeah.
If we keep allowing that to happen without facts or anything to go on.
Yeah. My thing with the whole Me Too, Andrew Cuomo resigning, I was like, hey, politically and his image brand and everything else, you have to do the right thing. Resign. Also morally, you have to resign because, hey, with the whole Me Too thing going around, there's too much heat. You had to resign, and also sexual allegations and stuff. You can't be doing that mess. You're a politician. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard. But also, I think that hey, with the Me Too movement itself, they need to focus on going after people with hardcore evidence. If you keep doing this mess with the whole he said, she said, that's not going to go anywhere because, like, hey, listen, eventually people are going to realize that, hey, they're going to realize the game that is, like, hey, you're going after he said, she said. There's no proof or no evidence or no nothing. And I'm just like, these companies and stuff, when you do investigations and stuff like that, you got to do a proper investigation. Saying, oh, well, we know we're not gonna rush this investigation. We're gonna have to take this time to do this investigation and everything else. And when we find evidence, then we'll fire him or we'll get rid of him. But until then, we're gonna continue the investigation. He's gonna be under scrutiny, but he's still gonna be employed. We're not just gonna rush him out and get him out there because the media says so. No, that's what I think these companies should do. But that's my closing statements. This is your boy Davin Daniel, and from the Black Evolution. And Kidd Klutch Productions, and we signing off. Listen to the outro music.